Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to downtown Burbank. Harmontown is now in session. Let's bring out Spencer Crenton.
It's good to be back.
All right, to my right we have Steve Levy. And the mayor of Harmontown himself, Mr. Dan Harmon.
Thank you. Wow. All right. Welcome to the second episode that we've done in studio.
I love it.
Thank you, Rob Schraub, our guest comptroller.
You're welcome.
So we're streaming live now is the difference between this week and last week. So now we're actually, even though we don't feel live, we are live. So don't launch into one of your Zionist rants, Levy, about how certain people are owed certain land. It's only going to get us in a lot of hot water. So tonight I want to just talk about stuff which it feels weird to talk about anything, because we're in a completely different medium. Like now you just hear your own voice and you feel like it feels more legitimate. It feels like I'm a radio show host.
Yes.
Feels like I'm supposed to have a point of view or anything like that. But I'm going to confine my points of view to myself like I'm always supposed to do. It's a comedy podcast.
It is.
I am a comedy podcast personality.
People come here for the laughs.
The funny things, my point of view.
These are things that you've thought up and you're going to bring it to the attention of the audience.
Yeah. So
these are humorous items.
But I do think we're going to end up talking a lot about the Harvey Weinstein thing and the explosion that's resulted.
What happened?
I'll explain in a second.
All right. We should probably do like some kind of title sequence for this segment, right?
Oh, you want to skip right to that, the headline item. Yeah.
Okay, here comes Dan Harmon's headlines.
Oh, this is the overview. Yeah. I keep biting my own lip, and not in a sexy way. That's one of the things that.
Which part?
The inside, like right on the inside
side
corner of my lip.
Do you get cankers?
I do now. I've created it's a self-created canker. This is the headline. Let's not let the preview text go longer than 2 lines.
Back it off.
That's number one. Number 2, Dick and Morty. I saw a trailer for a Rick and Morty porn parody that I haven't even stopped to examine whether my feelings are good, bad, or anything. I'm just excited.
It's the best of both worlds.
How many?
You have the tangible, nominal name recognition and basic physical resemblance to Rick and Morty. And then you have real people having sex. It's truly what some weirdo who has a weird fetish for Rick and Morty would like, and not just, an asshole's interpretation of what one of those fans would like.
We're talking about this a lot longer than just a headline.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
I don't want to be like the rule guy. I'm sorry. That was one item, right? Yeah. Okay, I watched My Cousin Vinny, and it kind of holds up in some ways. Yeah. Okay. Good. The Me Too Facebook thing. That's kind of a related to the Weinstein thing. The thing. Rose McGowan. Whether we should. You're gonna
coming and going.
That was one of my. Is it Gowan or Gowan?
I think it's Gowan.
Yeah, I think it's McGowan.
All right. Well,
Rose McGowan.
Well, let's have a big conversation about how we are and aren't supposed to say things, starting with the word McGowan. But that's all the same thing. That the Me Too Facebook thing and the Weinstein thing. That's all the same topic.
What's the Me Too Facebook thing?
Yeah.
Me too.
That's something Cody told me about. But if I start talking about it,
okay. We're still in the title sequence.
Jeez.
Then I wrote down power dynamics, just because. Really, isn't that the same thing? And then I wrote down the word. I wrote down the word sex worker. Let's start with that, because that just has such a quick shelf life.
Sex worker.
Let's call this segment. What did I miss?
How do you know when you're finished?
The word prostitute is problematic now, right?
Yeah.
You at home, I'm not doing a sarcastic bit where I'm like going like, tell me exactly, but that is what I'm doing, but I'm not doing it in parody. I'm being sincere and wanting to talk about words that enter the radar that I don't know how much longer than the word prostitute has been.
Is it
on the chopping block that I've been using it?
Well, it's the oldest profession.
What'd you say?
It's the oldest
profession.
It's
but there's the
what's
idea.
problematic?
I would. Well, I don't know. I don't think that's any.
I think sex worker is a more encompassing term that applies to more people, but I don't know that prostitute is necessarily. I mean, it might be.
What's the difference?
Well, you could be, for instance, like I don't want to say a cam whore, but you could be a cam model, and that's not necessarily a prostitute, but it is sex work.
Is adult film acting
yeah, you'd call that
worker?
Sex work.
They're not offended by being lumped in with. Is it that we're knocking off? Are we merging the idea that sex work is sex work, and because we want to not say, because it's too like biblical and provincial probably to go, well, your sex work involves really meaning it or something like we've been it's these divisions that need to go probably as part of it.
I think it's prostitute is I mean, it's only one kind of sex work, and so if you're like, oh, you're just a prostitute, and they're like, no, I'm a sex worker, then it's like you're kind of putting them in a more narrow box where they meet people and have sex with them when that might not be what's for sale. You know, like even a dominatrix might not just meet people and have sex with them, but they're almost certainly a sex worker.
Yeah, I had an ex-girlfriend who worked. She never touched anybody. Her job was to like whip guys in a dungeon. Something happened to my microphone or my headphones or my ego, in that I can't hear myself.
I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
All right,
so you can't hear your voice at all in your cans?
It's like drifting in and out now, like as if I'm subject to some kind of voice activated network.
Maybe you're losing your hearing.
Right.
Great. Now's the time to find out. All right, so it's like it's hard to have these conversations because I want to I sound like what I know the bad guy in my head sounds like when I have potentially passive-aggressive conversations, which is not what I'm trying to do, about the actual. I'm fascinated and I do welcome the evolution of language. I'm not a person that wants to caution against the slippery slope of modifying language, even though I was 20 years ago. Like, now I look at it differently and I'm fascinated by it. That's why I like having these conversations where I have it's not every day that someone lets you know that a word you're using is like changing in its like fashionability.
Is that how this started? You were saying it's like, well, you know, these prostitutes, and someone went.
Yeah, I can't remember, and I'm not gonna. It's not anecdote worthy, that conversation.
Okay,
not at all.
Backing off.
It's more like here's what kind of interests me about it is like. We don't have how do you tell? There's no newsletter, and that's what the bad guys say. Well, why don't you tell me the rules? And it's like, no, why don't you fucking think? When was I supposed to think about that as opposed to salt, pepper, and other words that I use completely unconsciously? And this ties into everything that we'll be talking about that isn't funny, because it's not a comedy podcast, and I'm not being funny. And why did the chicken do the thing? I don't know, because he felt disempowered. I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. I know that I keep doing this where I keep lashing out at a hypothetical audience and saying that I hate you, and you're like, we didn't hate you. Why are you yelling at me? But I do. I just like, if you're right now, if you're judging me, you know who you are. I judge you back. I judge you harder. I judge you first. I don't like you. I never liked you, and me liking you means more than you not liking me. You're done. You lost. You're in a crater. You're not even a person. You're a crater with shoes that just moves around. Wherever you stand identifies the point where I have power over you. So stop judging me. You've been judged. I'm going to proceed with my podcast. I don't know if I'm going to be funny, political, what side I'm on. I don't know when I'm talking and when there's diarrhea coming out of my mouth that's doing good and when it's doing bad. I just talk, and it's become my job. I've given it to myself as a job.